Clara, we need to talk. The way Daniel said it made my stomach twist. His voice was flat, almost rehearsed, and he didn't look me in the eyes. I set the pen down on the wedding guest list. What's wrong? He leaned back in the chair, folding his arms. I can't do this. The wedding us. I stared at him, certain I'd misheard. What? I'm not ready, he said, slow and deliberate, like he'd been practicing the line in front of a mirror. Not ready? My voice cracked. Daniel, the invitations are going out this week. I know. He exhaled, avoiding my gaze. That's why I had to tell you now. That's not a reason, I snapped. My chest felt tight. What changed? Yesterday you were talking about honeymoon destinations. I just realized this isn't right for me. I searched his face for a crack in his composure. What about me? He shifted uncomfortably. You'll be fine, Clara. The room tilted. My ears rang. Fine. You're walking away from 3 years like it's a bad date? I'm sorry. His voice was flat. Final. No, you're not, I whispered. You're relieved. You didn't deny it. That was worse than if he had shouted. I stood up, my legs unsteady. If you're going to destroy my life, at least tell me why. Daniel glanced at his watch. I don't think talking more will help. The words lodged in my throat like, Glass, get out, I said finally. He stood, hesitated, then walked out, leaving the front door slightly ajar. I sat there until the sound of his car faded. My fingers shook as I reached for my phone. I typed, come over. Please. Lily arrived 20 minutes later. Her hair pulled into a neat bun, lips painted a perfect shade of rose. She stepped inside with open arms. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Collapsed into her embrace, the familiar scent of her perfume hitting me. He just ended it. No explanation. That's awful, she said softly, stroking my hair. You didn't deserve that. My voice wavered. Do you think there's someone else? She pulled back just enough for me to see her face. Smile was small, almost pitying. Maybe he's just scared of commitment. Her tone was too calm. A thread of unease tugged at me. You don't seem surprised. I just don't want you to torture yourself with questions, she said, brushing it off. Sometimes men are. I loved him. I cut in. I thought he loved me. She squeezed my hand. He'll find someone better. Trust me. But her eyes, there was something there I couldn't place. That night I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Every memory with Daniel replayed in my head. The first date at that little Italian place. The way he'd looked at me when he proposed. The way his hand always found mine in crowded rooms. I wanted to hate him, but all I felt was a crushing emptiness. The phone buzzed beside me. An unknown number. Congratulations. I frowned. My thumb hovered over the screen. Another message popped up, a photo. Daniel, his hands on Lily's waist. Her lips pressed to his dot. The air left my lungs. I called her. She picked up on the third ring. Hey, Clara, how long? My voice was ice. A pause. Clara, how long have you been sleeping with him? She exhaled sharply. Wasn't planned? Oh, so it just happened. My best friend and my fiancé. Please, listen. No. My voice broke. You smiled in my face this afternoon. You hugged me. Didn't mean for it to hurt you, she said weakly. I laughed, bitter and hollow. You didn't. Mean for me to find out? Clara. I hung up. The phone buzzed again, this time, Daniel. I didn't answer. His text followed a second later. We can talk when you've calmed down. Calm down. I threw the phone across the bed. An hour later, my mom called. Sweetheart, are you okay? Ethan told me. Ethan knows. He called me earlier. Said Nate, said no. Daniel broke things off. I swallowed hard. It's worse than that. Do you want me to come over? No. I need to think. All right, but promise me you'll answer if I call again. I mumbled something that might have been agreement and hung up. Another buzz. This time, Ethan himself. Pack a bag, he said, the moment I answered. What? You're not staying there alone. Come to my place for a while. Fine, you're not. I know that voice, Clara. His tone softened. Let me help. I closed my eyes. Maybe tomorrow. I'll be there in the morning, he said firmly. I sat in the dark for hours, the glow from the street lamp casting long shadows on the wall. The photo burned in my mind, Lily's hand on his cheek. Smile meant for me now on her lips. I thought about all the times Lily had been late to meet me because she was stuck at work. All the nights Daniel had said he was too tired to come over. The puzzle pieces were there the whole time. I just hadn't wanted to see them. The ache in my chest hardened into something colder. I reached into the drawer and pulled out my engagement ring. The diamond caught the dim light, still beautiful, still perfect. I closed my fingers around it, until the metal dug into my skin. Tomorrow, I would leave. But tonight, I let myself cry until there was nothing left. I didn't knock. I slammed Daniel's apartment door open so hard it hit the wall. He looked up from the couch, startled, then quickly composed himself. Clara, don't say my name like you care, I snapped. Lily was there too, perched beside him like she belonged. She didn't even flinch. I turned to her. How long? Her jaw tightened. It's not what you think, it's exactly what I think. I cut in, so answer me. Daniel stood, stepping between us. Stop yelling. Yelling. I laughed bitterly. You ended our engagement yesterday, and now you're playing house with my best friend. I think yelling is the bare minimum. Lily crossed her arms. We didn't plan this, Clara. Do you expect me to believe you tripped and fell into his bed? Daniel's voice was calm, rehearsed. I found love where I didn't expect it. The words hit like a slap. You found love. Could barely breathe. With her? While you were still with me? He didn't answer. Lily glanced. At him, then back at me. I never meant to hurt you. You never meant for me to find out, I shot back. Her lips pressed into a thin line. We didn't want to lie forever. Oh, congratulations, you're very noble, I said, my voice shaking. You destroyed my engagement and my oldest friendship in one move. Impressive. Daniel sighed. Clara, you'll move on. We all will. No, you will, I said, stepping back toward the door. I'm done standing in this room and pretending you're worth my time. I turned and walked out before my legs gave way. Back at my apartment, I ripped the engagement ring off and tossed it into the desk drawer. The sharp click of metal against wood was final. The phone rang. Ethan, Clara. His voice was tight. Hi. I managed, though it came out flat, Mom told me. Is it true? It's worse, I said, sinking into the couch. What happened? I hesitated, then forced the words out. He's with Lily. There was a pause. Then, I'm coming to get you. No, Ethan. Yes, you're not staying there alone. I'm fine. I lied. You're not. You can hear it in your voice. Pack a bag. Closed my eyes. I don't want to run into them again. Exactly why you're leaving. My place is quiet. No Daniel, no Lily. Just you and me. I hesitated. It's a long drive. I don't care. You're my sister. That's the only thing that matters. By the time I hung up, my hands were trembling again. I poured a glass of water, but it did nothing to wash away the bitter taste in my mouth. The taste of betrayal. Sharp and metallic, like biting my tongue. A knock at the door made my heart jolt. For a second, I thought it might be Daniel, ready with another practiced speech. But it was just Mrs. Kelly from across the hall holding a package. This came for you. Thanks, I muttered. I didn't even look at it before tossing it. On the counter that night the silence in my apartment was suffocating. I kept hearing their voices in my head. I found love where I didn't expect it. I wanted to scream. Instead, I called Ethan back. Can you come tomorrow morning? I'll be there at 9, he said, without hesitation. Thanks. I whispered. You don't need to thank me, Clara. You're family. When I hung up, I went back to the drawer. The ring sat there, glittering like it still had meaning. My fingers hovered over it, but I didn't touch it. Not yet. The taste of betrayal doesn't fade quickly. It stays in your mouth, reminding you that some wounds aren't meant to heal overnight. Tomorrow, I'd leave this city. I'd leave them. But tonight, I let the bitterness burn. Ethan's truck rumbled down the gravel road, the city shrinking behind us. "You're pale," he said, glancing at me. "When was the last time you slept? Does an hour count?" I muttered. He shook his head. "You'll sleep here. No noise, no drama." I stared out at the endless green fields. "It's too quiet." "That's the point," he said. "You need quiet." His house smelled faintly of coffee and cedar. I dropped my bag in the guest room and followed him into the kitchen. "There's a bookstore in town," he said. "Maggie runs it. She's always looking for help." I frowned. "I'm not ready to work. Do you need something to do besides replaying their faces in your head?" He wasn't wrong. The bookstore sat on the corner of Main Street, its windows full of stacked paperbacks and hanging plants. Maggie was behind the counter, silver hair pulled back, glasses perched on her nose. "Ethan's sister," she said warmly when I introduced myself. "He told me you'd come by. Not sure how much help I'll be," I admitted. "Nonsense." She waved me behind the counter. "Books don't judge, dear. They just wait for someone to turn the page." Her kindness was unsettling. In a way, it made me realize how much tension I'd been carrying. 3 days later, I was shelving a stack of mystery novels when the bell above the door rang. A tall man stepped in, holding a hardcover under his arm. Dark hair, clean lines in his suit, but no flashy watch. No too bright smile. Returning this, he said, placing the book on the counter. His voice was steady, low. "Did you like it?" I asked. He nodded. The ending surprised me. Maggie appeared from the back. "Adrian, this is Clara. She's new." He offered his hand. Adrian Cole, Clara Hayes. His grip was warm. "Sure," Maggie grinned. "You should recommend her something. You read enough to run this place yourself." Adrian leaned against the counter. "What do you like?" I hesitated. "Honestly, I haven't been reading much lately." "Then you need something good," he said. "Something that makes you forget the clock." I smirked. "That's a tall order." "I'll take the challenge," he replied. Heading to the fiction section, 10 minutes later he returned with a worn paperback. "Try this. First chapter's slow, but it's worth it." I flipped it over. "What if I hate it? Then you can tell me I have terrible taste," he said, "but you won't." His confidence was quiet, not arrogant. After he left, Maggie looked at me with a knowing smile. "Nice man, that one. Architect keeps to himself." I rolled my eyes. "You? Sound like you're setting me up?" "I'm just saying," she teased. "Not all men are Daniels." The name hit like a pebble in my shoes mall, but impossible to ignore. The next afternoon, Adrian came back. "How's the book?" "I'm halfway through," I admitted. "We're right about the first chapter." He smiled. "Told you." We ended up talking for over an hour about books, the weather, the ridiculous price of coffee in the city. He listened more than he spoke, and when he did speak, it was never two. Phil's silence stopped when he left. Maggie leaned on the counter. "You laughed," she said. So that's the first time I've heard you laugh since you came here." I didn't have an answer for that. That night, I sat on Ethan's porch with a cup of tea, the book in my lap. I thought about Adrian's steady voice, the way he seemed completely comfortable in stillness. Daniel had always filled quiet with noise stories about himself, plans for the future he never kept. I wasn't ready to trust anyone again. But for the first time in weeks, the thought didn't scare me when Adrian asked. I thought he was joking. "A gala?" I raised an eyebrow. "You do realize I own exactly one nice dress, and it's black?" He smiled faintly. "Black works. It's just a charity thing for a client. I need someone to talk to, so I'm not cornered all night." "And you thought of me?" I did. His tone was casual, but his eyes lingered. 2 weeks later. I stood at the bottom of his porch, steps in a red dress Maggie had insisted I borrow. "You clean up well," he said, offering his arm. I glanced down. "It's too much, isn't it?" "Not enough," he replied. We were halfway up the steps to the venue when he stopped suddenly. "What?" I asked. He pulled a small box from his pocket. "This might sound strange, but wear this tonight." Inside, a diamond ring caught the light. "Adrian, just pretend," he said quickly. "It'll save you from awkward questions, and it'll keep certain people from bothering me." I stared at him. "You mean pretend we're engaged?" He nodded once. "Only for tonight." I hesitated. "This is ridiculous." "So is a gala," he said, sliding the ring onto my finger before I could argue. "But here we are." Inside, the chandeliers threw light across a sea of sequins and tuxedos. I caught my reflection in a mirror-red dress, diamond ring, a man at my side who looked like he belonged in every room he entered. A woman in emerald silk approached. "Adrian, you didn't tell me you were engaged." I opened my mouth, but he beat me to it. "It's recent," he said smoothly, giving my hand a light squeeze. Her eyes sparkled. "You're stunning, dear. And that Ringo, he has taste." I smiled politely. He does. Everywhere we went, it was the same congratulations, compliments, questions about the wedding. Adrian answered most of them with easy charm, his hand never leaving mine. At one point during a lull in conversation, I leaned in. "You're very convincing." He looked down at me. "So are you." Later, while he was pulled into a discussion with two older men, I wandered toward the balcony. The air outside was cool against my skin. I looked at the ring, its facets catching the city lights. It was heavy not just in weight, but in what it stirred inside me. "Everything all right?" Adrian's voice came from behind me. I turned. "Just needed some air." He joined me at the railing. "It's too much attention." "A little," I admitted, "but not as bad as I thought." He smiled faintly. "You're good at this." "It's not real," I reminded him. "Doesn't mean you're not good at it." Something in his tone made my pulse skip. We left just after 11. In the car, I caught sight of my phone lighting up with notifications. "Popular tonight?" Adrian asked. I frowned, scrolling. Someone posted a photo of us. "It's everywhere." He glanced over. "Do you mind?" I hesitated. "I don't know yet." Back at Ethan's, I went straight to my room and opened the photo. I was laughing at something Adrian had said, the red dress clinging in all the right places, the diamond flashing under the lights. He looked at Minot at the camera with an expression I couldn't name. The comments were full of speculation. Some congratulated us. Others asked who the mysterious fiancé was. I closed the phone. The image still burned into my mind. It was supposed to be pretend. But the way he'd looked at me didn't feel like acting at all. I wasn't expecting the knock. Ethan was out for the day, and I'd been halfway through making tea. When I opened the door, Daniel was standing, their hair messy, eyes bloodshot. "Clara, we need to talk." I didn't move. "You shouldn't be here. I drove 3 hours. Please." I crossed my arms. "Say whatever you came to say, then leave." He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. "I made a mistake." I laughed once, sharp. "Oh, which part? Sleeping with my best friend or breaking my heart?" In the process, his jaw tightened. "Lily's not who I thought she was." I leaned against the counter. "Enlighten me." "She's selfish, manipulative. She's exactly who she's always been." I cut in. "You just didn't notice while you were too busy sneaking around with her." He ran a hand through his hair. "Clara, I don't know. I thought I was in love with her, but I wasn't. I was stupid." I smiled without warmth. "And now you want to come back? Just like that?" "Yes." His voice cracked. "I miss you." "You miss having someone who adored you," I said. "Not me. That's not true." He reached for my hand. I stepped back. "Don't touch me." His eyes flickered with frustration. "We were supposed to get married. We had a life planned. You threw it away," I said. "And you didn't even blink." "I blinked," he muttered. "I regretted it the second I saw who Lily really was." "That's not regret." I said. That's buyer's remorse. The front door opened. Clara. Adrian's voice floated in. Daniel's head snapped toward the sound. Adrian stepped in holding a brown paper bag. I brought lunch. Thought. You might like he stopped when he saw Daniel. I didn't know you had company. Daniel's gaze dropped to my left hand. His eyes widened. You're engaged? I didn't hesitate. Yes. His face went pale to him. I glanced. At Adrian? Yes. Daniel looked between us. How long? That's none of your business. His voice rose. So you're telling me I leave for a few months and suddenly you're wearing another man's ring? I tilted my head. Interesting choice of words you left. And yes, I am. Daniel's hands curled into fists. This is insane. You. Can't I can? I said. And I have. Adrian looked at me, reading the tension in my shoulders. Do you want him to leave? Yes, I said, without looking away from Daniel. Daniel's eyes darkened. You think this is over? You think wearing a ring from him erases what we had? What we had died the moment you kissed her, I said quietly. For a moment he looked like he wanted to argue. Then he laughed bitterly. Fine, enjoy your fairy tale. He brushed past Adrian on his way out, muttering something under his breath. The door slammed behind him. I let out a long breath. I didn't realize I'd been holding. You okay? Adrian asked. Not really, I admitted, but I will be. He set the bag on the table. Sit, eat. I sat, rubbing my temple. You didn't have to back me up like that. Yes, I did, he said simply. I glanced at the ring on my finger, the same one from the gala. You know, it's funny. Didn't even think before saying yes. Adrian smiled faintly. Maybe you meant it. I looked away. Maybe. Maggie slid a latte across the counter. You hear about Lily? I blinked. What about her? She leaned in. Heard from Janet Miller Lily's been telling people you were unstable, clingy. That's why Daniel left. My fingers tightened. Around the cup, unstable. That's the word she used, Maggie said carefully. I laughed, low and sharp, right? Because nothing says mentally healthy like sleeping with your best friend's fiancé. She's trying to justify herself, Maggie said. That's all. I set the latte down. What else did she say? She implied you were obsessive. That Daniel had to get away. My jaw clenched. Incredible. Maggie hesitated. There's more. She cheated on him. I looked up. With who? Some guy from the gym. She said apparently within weeks of them getting together. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Well, I guess Daniel got his karma early. Later, at Ethan's place, I told Adrian. She called me clingy, I said, pacing the living room, and unstable. As if she wasn't the one crawling into my life and stealing everything. Adrian sat back on the couch, calm as ever. That's what she needs to tell herself to sleep at night. Let her. I want to scream it from the rooftops, I admitted. Tell everyone exactly what she did. You could, he said. Or you could let her do the damage herself. I stopped pacing. What's that supposed to mean? People like Lily always burn their own bridges, Adrian said. You don't have to light the match. I narrowed my eyes. You think I should just wait? I think he said that revenge doesn't have to be loud to be satisfying. Sat on the arm of the couch, so you're saying I do nothing? I'm saying, he replied. You protect your peace. Let them unravel on their own. My lips curved into a slow smile. You sound awfully confident she will. I've met her twice, he said. It's enough. I laughed, shaking my head. You're ridiculous. He grinned. And yet you're still listening. The next day, I overheard two women in the bookstore whispering near the romance section. Did you hear? Lily cheated on Daniel already. One said, I did. The other replied, serves him right though. Everyone knows what they did to Clara. I pretended to shelve books, my pulse steady. When they left, Maggie glanced at me. See? Word spreading without you saying a thing. I exhaled. Feels better than I expected. That night, Ethan called from the kitchen. You look smug. Do I? I asked, sipping tea. Yeah, and I know that you're plotting something. No plotting, I said. Just enjoying a bit of poetic justice. Ethan leaned against the doorway. You hear something new? Only that Lily's reputation is starting to crack, I said, and I didn't even touch it. He smirked. Best kind of payback. Later, when Adrian stopped by, I told him. About the whispers. Told you, he said, setting down a bag of pastries. You were right, I admitted. This is better than shouting. You keep your dignity, he said, and they get exactly what they deserve. I leaned back against the counter. You know, I think I can live with that. Maggie rang up a stack of books for a customer, before leaning toward me. Have you heard? I wiped the counter. About what? Daniel, she whispered. His new project tanked. Investors pulled out. I raised an eyebrow already. Apparently the whole thing was a mess, she said. Bad planning, worse execution. A slow smile formed on my lips. And here I thought he was the golden boy. Golden boys can rust, Maggie replied. Later that afternoon, Ethan stopped by the store, leaning on the counter. Guess who I saw downtown? Don't tell me Daniel, I said. He smirked. With no tie, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Poor thing, I said dryly. He didn't see me, Ethan added. But I heard someone at the cafe talking. Apparently Lily's been spotted with some other guy. I stilled. Another one. Tall, dark hair. Not Daniel. I laughed under my breath. She really doesn't waste time. That evening, Adrian called. You hear the news? Which one? I asked. Daniel's big business flop and Lily's new friend. I sipped my tea, smiling into the phone. Seems karma has a good memory. Slow but precise, he said. Do you feel bad for them? I asked. No, he said without hesitation. Do you? I paused. Not even a little. Weeks passed and the whispers grew louder. One afternoon, a customer leaned over the counter. You're Clara Hayes, right? Yes, I said cautiously. They were wrong about you, she said. We all see it now. My throat tightened, but I managed to smile. Thank you. After she left, Maggie nudged me. Told you. People figure out the truth eventually. At dinner one night, Ethan passed me the salad bowl. So you and Adrian. I set down my fork. What about us? You're spending a lot of time together. I felt heat rise in my cheeks. We're close. Close like friends, or close like you're actually wearing that ring for a reason now? He asked. I hesitated. Maybe both. Ethan grinned. About time you had someone who treats you right. The next weekend, Adrian and I were walking by the lake. Remember when we said this was just pretend? I asked. I do, he said, glancing at me. It doesn't feel pretend anymore. His lips curved slightly. It hasn't for a while. Stopped, my heart pounding. Then what is it? He stepped closer. It's real, Clara. At least for me, I swallowed hard. For me too. Back at Ethan's, I stared at the engagement ring in the mirror. It didn't feel like a prop anymore. It felt like a promise. Adrian appeared in the doorway. You're thinking too much. I smiled faintly. Maybe I am. You could just stop thinking and let it be what it is, he suggested. I turned toward him, and what is it? His gaze held mine. The start of something good. A week later, Maggie pulled me aside in the shop. You'll never guess who came in here this morning, Daniel, a guest. Looking for you, she said. I told him you weren't in. What did he want? He didn't say, but he looked tired, beaten down. I exhaled. He's getting exactly what he earned. Maggie tilted her head. And you're moving on? Yes, I said firmly. I'm done letting them live in my head. That night, Adrian and I sat on his porch with coffee. You're quiet, he said. I saw the aftermath today. Maggie said Daniel stopped by. He frowned. What did you say? I didn't see him. Didn't want to. Good, Adrian said. He doesn't deserve any more of your time. I leaned back. You know what's strange? I want to rub it in, but I don't. That's growth, he said with a smile. Feels like peace, I admitted. One Sunday morning, I spotted a headline in the local paper. Former business star faces lawsuits. I folded it shut before Adrian could see. You're not even reading it? He asked. No, I said. That part of my life is over. He studied me for a moment. You've really let go. I smiled. Turns out letting go feels better than revenge. Walking through the bookstore a few days later, I caught my reflection in the window, calm, steady, and lighter somehow. Maggie noticed. You look happy, she said. I am, I told her. For the first time in a long time. Adrian's good for you, she said. I smiled. And I'm good for me. That night, as Adrian and I shared dinner, he reached across the table. Clara, you know you don't have to keep wearing that ring if you don't want to? Looked. At him, I want to. His eyes softened. Then maybe it's time we stopped calling it pretend. I felt my chest warm. I think so too. We didn't need to say more. The silence between us was enough, steady, certain, and free from the shadows of the past. The sky was gray when I stepped out of the bookstore. I didn't see him until he was right in front of me. Clara, Daniel said, blocking my path. I froze. What are you doing here? I needed to see you, he said quickly. Please, just hear me out. I don't think please, he repeated, eyes searching mine. I've made mistakes. I know that now. Crossed my arms, mistakes like walking out on me, or believing every lie Lily fed you. His jaw tightened. I thought she was different. I was wrong. That's your problem, I said. He stepped closer. I'll leave her, I'll leave everything, just come back to me. I let out a short laugh. You're serious? Yes, he said. We can start over. Forget the past. Forget, I asked. Daniel, you destroyed us. You didn't. Just Levu made sure I was humiliated. His voice cracked. I thought you'd moved on. That Adrian, this isn't about Adrian, I cut in. It's about me realizing I deserve better. He flinched. Okay, better than me? Yes, I said simply. For a moment, he looked like he might argue, but then his shoulders sagged. I'm not that man anymore. I can change. Shook my head. You already did change. That's the problem. He swallowed hard. So that's it? No second chance. I reached into my bag. I kept something of yours. His eyes followed my hand as I pulled out a small velvet box. You kept the ring, said softly. I opened it, revealing the diamond that once felt like a promise. This belongs to the man you used to be, not the one you became. His face, tightened eyes glistening. Clara, I placed it in his hand. I'm not taking it back. Not taking you back. A long silence stretched between us. The wind caught my hair, and for a second, I thought I'd feel guilt. I didn't. You really don't love me anymore? He asked quietly. I don't even know who you are anymore, I said. And if I were still alone, I'd still never choose you. He blinked rapidly, trying to keep his composure. You mean that? Yes, I said without hesitation. His voice was a whisper. I thought I'd have more time to fix this. You had all the time in the world while you were with her, I said. You just didn't care until it was too late. He stared at the ring in his palm. It used to mean something. It did, I said. Once, his lips trembled. What does Adrian have that I don't? Respect for me, I said. And a heart that doesn't wander. He let out a shaky laugh. Guess I deserved that. I stepped back. I have to go. That's it, he asked, desperation. Creeping into his voice, that's it, I said. I'm done reliving the same pain. He took a step toward me. Clara, please. I held up a hand. Don't make this harder. You had your answer the day you left me. His face crumpled, the last of his pride slipping away. I turned and walked toward the corner, my heartbeat steady. Behind me, his voice called my name, but I didn't look back. Halfway down the street, I realized my chest felt lighter than it had in a year. Adrian was waiting by his truck. You okay? Yes, I said, climbing in. You saw him, Adrian guessed. I nodded. He wanted me back and, told him the truth. I said that I'd never choose him again. Adrian studied my face. Do you regret it? No. I said, I think it's the first thing I've done for myself in a long time. He reached for my hand. Then you did the right thing. The warmth of his fingers grounded me. It feels like I've finally closed the door. Good, he said softly. Now you can walk through the next one. I smiled faintly. With you? If you'll let me, he said. We drove away, the bookstore fading from view. My reflection in the window looked different, lighter, stronger. Adrian glanced over. You look relieved. I am, I said. It's strange. I thought letting go would hurt more. It only hurts when you're still holding on, he said. That night. I set my bag on the kitchen counter and thought about the ring. Not the one Daniel had given me, the one I still wore from Adrian. He caught me staring at it. What's going through your mind? That I don't want to take this one off, I admitted. Then don't, he said simply. I smiled. I wasn't planning to. The next morning, I passed the bookstore window and caught sight of myself again. No shadows in my eyes, no weight on my shoulders, just me. For the first time in a year, I knew exactly where I was headed and who. I wanted beside me when I got there that the oak tree's branches swayed above me, scattering sunlight in restless patterns across the grass. I'd come here for a quiet morning, not expecting to find Adrian waiting. He smiled. You're early. So are you, I said, tilting my head. What's going on? Come here, he said, motioning to the worn bench under the tree. I sat, the wood warm from the sun. You look nervous. Maybe, he said with a small laugh. There's something I've been meaning to ask you. I raised an eyebrow. You've been meaning to ask me? That sounds serious. It is, he said. Do you remember the first time we met here? I smiled faintly. You bumped into me, nearly spilled my coffee, and then tried to pretend it was my fault. It was your fault, he teased, then sobered. That day, I didn't know you'd change my life. My pulse quickened. Adrian, let me finish, he said. At first, this ring was just pretend. But everything we've been through, every laugh, every fight, every late-night talk, it stopped feeling like an act a long time ago. My breath caught. You're serious. He nodded and reached into his pocket. The small velvet box looked impossibly familiar and completely different all at once. He opened it. The ring inside caught the light. Delicate but steady, nothing like the one I'd given back to Daniel. This, he said, isn't about revenge. It's not about proving anything to anyone. It's just about you. About us. Clara, will you marry me? The world seemed to narrow to the space between us. Yes, I said. My voice steady, but my heart racing. His shoulders relaxed, a smile breaking across his face. Yes, I repeated, laughing softly. And not because of the past. Because you make me feel safe and alive. He took my hand, sliding the ring onto my finger. The cool metal warmed instantly against my skin. It fits, he said. It's mine, I said quietly. Truly mine. He brushed his thumb over my hand. Do you know what I see when I look at you now? What? Someone who survived? Everything meant to break her. And somehow she still has the biggest heart. I swallowed hard. Don't make me cry under this tree. He laughed, pulling me into his arms. Cry if you want. I'll still be here. I leaned against him, the rough bark at my back, his warmth in front of me. It's funny, I murmured. Spot, it started everything. It's care, and now it's starting the rest, he said. I looked down at the ring again. It wasn't just a promise. It was proof that I'd made it through. And for the first time, the future didn't scare me. It called to me.